Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, we're doing another podcast, and I have a special guest with me. He is one of my best friend's dad, and his name is Taylor Davis.
How's it going, man? Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. So, I guess a little bit. So, his son is Cole Davis, if you've checked out the previous episodes. And Mr. Taylor he's a guy. He's a really special guy. So today I'm going to learn more about you. And, my big following is going to learn a lot about you as well. So let's just go straight into it. So who is Taylor Davis?
I'm just a guy. But I do have to say how exciting it is to be on the podcast of a celebrity.
My goodness.
I am very, very excited about this. I can't tell you how much I am. And I just, it blew me away to be invited here. So
really?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for
Yeah,
the
you're
opportunity.
welcome. I don't know if I'd say celebrity, but glad to have you. You want the next question? I mean, it kind of helps guide this question, I guess.
Sure. What's the first question?
So the first one was, who are you?
Okay.
So if you just want to give like a brief, like.
Sure. So I would first say who I am has definitely been a journey. I'm 51, and I don't know that I could answer that 25 years ago. Yeah. And so I am a husband, a dad. I'm a cop. I'm a son. I'm a brother. All those things have helped make me to where I am. Took me on this long journey. I'm a cop. The amount of things that I've learned in the last 25 years of my life have far outweighed the first 25. I mean, it's been quite a unique situation. And I say all that because not until about 10 years ago, give or take a couple of years, did I truly experience some things in life where it was up just the farthest reaches of difficulty I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Home, work, everything. And because of that, I became much more focused on what I believe instead of it just being something I would admit to.
Yeah.
It became something that I lived to improve and be better. And that is just being a Christian. I mean, as your kids grow up and life experiences happen, it definitely changes you to pay attention to the priorities. So
yes.
Who I am is all of those things. And then finally, in the last 10 years of my life, to be 51 and say that's kind of almost embarrassing, really, when you've been a Christian for a while, but it really did pull it all together.
Yeah.
So
I guess, the second question here is, what was life like growing up? What was your childhood and teenage years?
Man, I had a fantastic growing up.
Yeah.
I hope my dad hears me say that. I was an Army brat.
Okay.
We moved around my entire young life. Never really lived any more than about 2 years per location until I got to high school when my dad retired during high school.
So y'all moved around like a good bit?
I've lived out of country. I've lived all over the United States.
Wow, I did not know that.
And so, yeah, if you know what I cheer for, you'll understand why.
Right.
Like I'm a Braves fan first, but I love the Kansas City Royals from living out there.
Oh, okay.
I love the Falcons, but I love the Broncos from living out there. So I kind of have like a
diverse
multiple loyalties, many loyalties on that, even on the college world. So it really does do that. I think the kids think it's funny because be like, Oklahoma State's playing. What, Oklahoma State?
Right.
My sister went to school there, so you know what I mean? So it's just all over the place. So I had a great growing up, awesome parents. At least one of them were at every single extracurricular activity I had growing up. I was spoiled on that. If one couldn't make it, the other one did, but most of the time I had both there.
Okay.
And it's really amazing because my father didn't have that. My
Right.
father didn't come from that strong of a family bond, or a family of faith, and for that matter. And so, it just amazing. The last place I lived before I ended up back in Georgia was Colorado. I do treat that state like it's my second home.
Yeah.
I used to go back about every year, go see my friends from high school.
Did you live in like the mountains, like
No, I was
like
in
the
the
open or like city?
Inglewood. It's the southeastern suburbs of
Okay.
Denver.
Okay.
It's kind of the equivalent of like this McDonough
Yeah.
area to Atlanta, the
Right.
south side, kind of to the east a little bit.
Okay.
And kind of the same too. Not anymore. The McDonough area is still kind of rural
Yeah.
in parts. Inglewood is no longer rural anymore now. If I go back now, I mean, it's suburbia
Okay.
everywhere.
Suburbia.
The Broncos training camp's like right down the road from where
Yeah.
I lived. So it used to be out in the middle of nowhere, like that, like one of those old airplane hangars kind of
Yeah.
thing. Now
Yeah.
it's surrounded by residential areas and commerce and all that. So
Okay.
pretty cool.
All right. So in those years, I mean, who would you say was your biggest role model and why?
Oh, wow. It really does take a kind of a joint thing.
Yeah.
The hard work and like dedication of my father is definitely instilled in me.
Yeah.
The principles of you are what your results show. And I'm not talking about on a public spectrum, like fortune and fame. My dad just knows that you bust your tail,
Right.
and you will advance, you will be good, and you will have that reputation of integrity and work ethic. And then my mom was the ultimate sacrificer. She's gone now, but I cannot tell you how much she volunteered for, how much she did
Yeah.
for me and my sister. And so both of them are very strong in their faith, Christians.
Mom and dad?
Mom and dad.
Okay.
And even today, my dad being, single at this point, but
Right.
he is still very strong in that. He's a much quieter guy now. I think mom's passing, kind of
Yeah.
silenced him a little bit. We don't see the same smile that we used to.
Right.
But just the influence that they had on me and how much they do, it really comes out of me with Cole and Jenna, because I do not want to miss anything.
Yeah.
It infuriates me when I do.
Yeah.
And I know it infuriated my dad when he couldn't be there. So I would have to equally apply my dad and my mom as just role models in life. And now as being a dad of 18 years, with Cole, like it's come full circle.
Right.
I'm flashing back to my senior year and all the things my parents were doing for me, trying to get me out the door, successfully out the door, you
Right.
know, because they had higher goals for me than I did. I wasn't the most mature 18-year-old in the world. So, and I had not committed myself to Christ yet either.
Yeah.
So that was another part of that. But man, my mom and dad, just phenomenal people. My mom's absence is so obvious. The kids noticed that because she was just like then, they came to every single thing of the grandkids, even my sister's kids. My sister married later in life.
Right.
So she inherited kids from my brother-in-law who were already like preteen, teen.
Okay.
But it didn't matter to them. They treated those girls, my nieces, like they were grandkids since birth. It really was amazing. So I could go on and on.
Cole talked about, I think I had asked him like what was the most challenging thing or something. He said that losing his grandma.
Yeah.
So, so this, not a lot of people probably know about this if they don't really know who you are, but your knee or knees, I guess I should say. I actually was just on the phone with a friend I told him I was doing this today, and I couldn't like really remember the story. So could you like kind of tell the story? I mean, this is kind of life changing, right? This surgery and everything. So what happened with your knees? How did we get to this surgery, and what's the whole journey here?
Hope you got some time. There's a lot to say. So yeah, I did not have or suffer a catastrophic injury.
Yeah.
I injured my knee back in high school, and that kind of got neglected. So I'm sure that's a contributing factor, meniscus and things like that back in the day. But really, it just comes down to poor genetics. My mom's side of the family.
Yeah.
My mom's side of the family, I think everybody had knee replacement, if not once, but twice. So I anticipated.
Like girls and guys?
Yep. My mom had it. Her sister and brothers had it. Her mom had it. I mean, going back to whenever that science and medicine was invented.
Yeah.
My relatives on my mom's side have all done it. So I pray that Cole and Jenna never have to experience it. So essentially, about 7 or 8 years ago, I started having a lot of chronic pain. And just to go fast with that, within a couple of years of that, I was basically bone on bone. Cartilage is completely worn away. Both meniscus are frayed and severed. They're not even.
Now, is that like middle of the knee?
Right in the middle.
Okay.
And so I have no cushion. I have no attachment that keeps things in line.
Yeah.
And so for the last 7 or 8 years, that's what I've been dealing with. And I got to tell you, in the last 3 or 4, it has been terrible. I mean, I'm eating ibuprofen
Really?
all day long just to keep the inflammation down so I can just walk around and do my job.
Wow.
So that ultimately was the battle. And I certainly had a couple of moments where I'm trying to do things physical and I can't. So there's the pain comes along with the humiliation of not being able to. I actually stopped helping coach one of Jenna's teams because I could not stand on the field for 20 minutes, much less 2 or 3 hours. I just had to quit and become a fan.
So is it like stabbing pain, or is it like
it's stabbing pain if I move awkwardly, but no, it's just really
like
a
dull?
never-ending dull pain, and it builds the longer you do it. So like standing up on both bad legs for just 5 to 7 minutes, I want to sit down. Like I want to get off my feet. So you wouldn't see me standing around socializing a lot. I'd go find a chair.
Right.
If you watch me at a youth event, I will go find a place where I can see everybody, but I'm sitting down and enjoying the crowd.
Yeah.
So fast forward into the last few years, I've been going to an orthopedic doctor who intended to replace my knees, the full replacement. However, he was a very strict guy on criteria. You can't see me in this podcast, but I'm a stocky fella.
Yeah.
My weight has fluctuated the last roughly 15 years. I've lost a bunch, gained a bunch, lost a bunch. I mean, it's just back and forth. Psychological warfare, really.
Yeah.
And he would not replace my knees for 2 reasons. One was I was way too far overweight, and 2, I was too young. So essentially you had to be 50 years old and your weight / BMI had to be at a certain level. And so it was crushing news the first time. Even when I lost about 40 pounds after probably the first year and a half of him, it wasn't good enough. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, here I go. He's like, I still need 40 from you.
Really?
I mean, it was hard enough just to do that because I'm already inactive. So like, he'd be like, go walk.
Right. It hurts
Sir,
to walk.
I cannot go walk.
Yes.
I can't even go down to the end of the driveway. I have a steep driveway. I don't even want to walk to the mailbox. And you're telling me to go walk around the block. I can't do it. So each year I met with him the last 4 years, about 4 years, maybe 5, but I know for 4 for sure because we're getting into 2020. It's probably right around before COVID, when I first started doing it. So I dealt with that. Even Amy, my wife, was really disappointed in the process. I begged him, hey, I can be more active if I can just get my legs back.
Right.
I will break my back and be more active. Nope. Medicine and research shows you're not going to be successful. The joint will fail at this weight and this age.
Meaning like if you got that surgery?
Mm-hmm. If you replace my knee and I'm too fat, the chances of infection and joint failure are astronomically higher than if I'm at 50 years old and older and much lighter. And I was like, what does age have to do with it? He goes, because when you're in your 40s, you're like 60% more active than a 50-year-old. And those things I don't think of, So
right.
Nonetheless, it never went anywhere.
Yeah.
With him for 4 years. It was just.
And so what, is this just like you just go to checkups? And he's just saying like.
Show him I'm losing weight. Okay, keep going.
Every time.
Yep. And so I really completely got totally discouraged.
Right.
And then this is going the end of 23, I literally gained every pound back that I had lost. It was just worn out. I was 4 years of meeting with him and just like, good grief, this is terrible. So last year I went on a quest and I was like, I'm going to get this done. I don't care what happens. So I'm getting with my general practitioner and just trying to figure out anything that will help, medical miracle drug. I didn't care what it was. But anyway, so keeping that new perspective, I just knew I couldn't go back to that doctor without what he wanted. I was done. So here we are, 2025. It's been over 5 years of great gains and terrible losses and trying to do all this.
Right.
And I will note, around the time I started putting all the weight back on is when, my mom passed a few years ago. So just kind of everything kind of coincides together.
Yep.
But randomly, I just had enough. That doctor actually said one thing to me, and he said, you'll know when you can't take it anymore because you'll actually joke around and say, amputate him now. So last year, right near the end of the year, I actually started making that comment subconsciously to Amy. They can just take him. I'll get prosthesis. And at least I won't hurt anymore. I'll just have to learn a new way of living and walking. I don't care. And she's like, oh my gosh. So you're just totally defeated. It's a humiliating thing. And these are things, you may not comprehend, but like looks like we're getting an Amber Alert here.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
So looks like, you can't step out in the yard, play catch with your kid, shoot hoops with your kid, wash the car with your kid. I mean, it takes a toll on your brain and your heart. And I've had enough. So
now, is this like, you're saying like that's what it's been like for 15 years or the 5 years?
No, these last 5 years have been the terrible
That's been
years.
the hardest.
Yeah. That's when I stopped helping coach. That's when I stopped being actively involved. I would honestly help out with the church basketball upward right now if I could. But so with all of those challenges, I just got to that point where I was ready to sever them. Man, let's go. Cut them off. And so working with, I got a lot of help from my doctor and everything from nutrition to a little bit of medicine to help me get over the edge of that. And so right now I'm sitting at right about 50 pounds that I've lost this year.
Wow.
Since January, the end of January, beginning of February. And so that's been great, but it still wasn't good enough for him. So we get to about September of this year. And I had just finally started truly praying for relief.
Yeah.
Like, Lord, I have got to get some help. This is the most debilitating thing I could ever have right now. It's just terrible. I don't even like going to sporting events, and I am a sports junkie.
Yep.
Because I don't want to park and walk all the way into the stadium to find my seat and
Yep.
walk all. I mean, it's not worth it.
It's a
to me.
lot. Yeah.
So, randomly, a buddy of mine at work, we haven't been able to talk in a while. He's a believer, but directly not associated with that part
Right.
of the story, other than the fact that there's no doubt there's some God's timing here.
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this is where it gets crazy.
Yeah.
So September, he calls me up, says, "Hey, come hang out with me in my office for a minute while I got a few
Randomly
minutes."
called you?
Yeah, just randomly called me. We work for the same department,
Okay.
almost the same amount of time. We've pretty much grown up in the agency together. And
Yeah.
And so I went and hung out with him, ate my lunch while I was in there, and we were just shooting the breeze about this and that and laughing at people at work, and just like we would if we were still working together.
Right.
He far outranks me now, and so we're never really around each other a lot. And he just said, "So what's the deal with your knees, man?" And I explained the whole story to him, and he said, "Wow, that really sounds like what I went through." Now, my buddy, about 10 years ago, wrecked a motorcycle.
This guy.
Same friend.
Okay.
Yeah. And he shattered a femur and a lower leg and damaged his hips real bad. He even broke parts of his vertebrae off where your nerves are running through your back. Terrible, terrible wreck. And all he was doing was leaving a parking lot and hit a patch of sand in the road.
Really?
His wife was actually on the back of the bike with him, and
Oh, my
she
goodness.
went down with him too. Fortunately, she wasn't banged up like them.
Yeah.
He definitely took the brunt of the damage. So he said, "Well, that's funny. I couldn't get my doctor to replace my hips, and that's desperately what I wanted."
Right.
Now, this is a guy who is in phenomenal shape. When I say that, I want, you just think of some of the most athletic and conditioned people.
Yeah.
You'll think of professional athletes. He's not a professional athlete, but he's on our SWAT team and high-ranking member, long experience. He's no longer on the team, but this is a guy who was in phenomenal shape, took care of himself. And the only reason he gained a bunch of weight was because of his legs.
Really?
So they'd put pins and rods to put his legs and femur and lower legs back together.
After the wreck, he gained a lot of weight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's just so immobile,
Yeah. Yep.
And so he just says, you're talking about all this criteria about being too heavy and
Yeah.
not old enough. And he's about my age. And he goes, "I went through this too." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "What doctor did you have?" And I named the doctor, and he goes, "That's my doctor."
Really? The
And I
guy?
was the same doctor. My friend's doctor was the same doctor I had that was denying me.
Wow.
And he goes, "You need to go get a second opinion, and you need to go see this doctor, doctor number 2. You need to go see her." I was like, "Oh, okay," because we use the same healthcare system. I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "I'm not joking, man." The first words out of her mouth to me when I walked in the door and she saw what condition I was in was she said, "Quality of life over risk any day of the week,"
First thing she said.
after she talked to him.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, okay. So when you're in, you can get those appointments." So I called up, asked for her, got an appointment about 30 days out. It was actually on Amy's birthday,
Okay.
October 17th. So I told him, I was like, "I got an appointment. It's in a month." But he's like, "No, you're fine, dude. Usually you're waiting 3 months."
Wow.
I'm like, "Okay. Sounds great." So I get all that, and I'm like, that's just interesting. That just came up right now.
Right.
A little back of your mind kind of memory right there. So I've kept that in place.
Yeah.
What happened then is it just starts to speed up. And I'm still amazed at how this all took place. So at the same time, I'm trying to consider advancement.
Right.
And we go through some periodic, what we call promotional assessments and testing. But the problem is I don't want to get promoted, because the minute you get promoted, you get moved
Right.
to where they need you. And if I got moved out of what my desk job is right now, I'm in serious trouble. Like bad legs. I can't be in the field. Lord knows I can't run after somebody. But even in another role, like in investigations, I can't stand around a crime scene talking to people for 3 hours. I can't do it. So I was scared to death. I'm not going to do it. I can't do any of that until I'm fixed. So I'm not touching it. And I talked to Amy about it. She understood, even though she wanted me to pursue it because she thought I was worthy, and great encouragement from the wife. But the physical challenges are just ridiculously overbearing.
Yes.
And so I end up going to the appointment on October 17th. So just keep all that other stuff in mind. And I walk in the door. The doctor's already in there. She has my x-rays up that I had just done the day before for her. And she tells me, those are the worst knees I've seen on a man your age in 20 years.
Dang.
And I was like, okay.
That's encouraging.
She goes, I note here from the previous doctor that you joked around with him at your last meeting that you were ready to amputate. I said, yes, ma'am, if that's what it takes. And she said, okay, all right, well, forget that idea. I said, okay. And
now, are you going into this thinking it's going to be same old, same old?
Absolutely. I'm waiting for the punch to the throat of,
you got to lose more weight.
You're of age now, but you're still too heavy. Now, keep in mind, when I met with her, I was right around 42, 43 pounds lost. So, I mean, I feel like I'm showing good faith. I'm busting my tail. But she's a totally new doctor. Never met her before.
Yep.
I'm only there because my friend referenced her. That's it.
Good old buddy said, go check her out.
And so she said, well, you definitely need knee replacement, full knee replacement on both legs. If we did it, which one would you want to do first? And I said, well, probably my right. That's my dominant leg. I'd like to get that fixed so I can use it. And she goes, well, if I did it, I'd do your left first because your dominant leg can help you more with your healing left leg. And when your left leg is good, it's going to be bionic compared to your right. I said, okay, well, if we get to that point, sure. She goes, well, let me tell you how this works. And I'm like, okay. And she starts going through the things. Have you ever had surgery for anything?
Mm-mm.
So a pre-op is what you always have with your doctor before you get to the operating table. And it's like all the expectations, what not to do.
This is like what they would say if you're actually getting the surgery.
I'm getting surgery. Yep. And so about 2 minutes in, I said, Doc, I'm sorry. I got to interrupt you for a second. You're talking to me like this is a pre-op appointment. And she goes, well, yeah, I'm going to replace your left knee. And I'm going to get emotional talking about this.
Wow.
She said, that's what you're here for, right? I said, well, forgive me, doctor, but I have been told no for so long, and the criteria related to that, I have not achieved, and I'm well on my way. I'm well on my way. But I was not anticipating this conversation at all. So you've kind of hit me hard right here. I got emotional with her like I am right now.
And this is the first meeting.
First meeting I ever had with her.
Oh,
and I'm not
goodness.
even 10 minutes into the appointment. And
wow.
Yeah. And I said, so I'm just blown away that you just told me that you're going to do it. And she goes, well, give me just a second because I want to hear why you're so shocked that I'm telling you this based on what I'm looking at in these x-rays.
Right.
But let me explain something to you. Quality of life over risk any day of the week.
That's when she said that.
And I went, oh my gosh, that was what my friend said she said to him.
Oh.
And I went, holy cow. I said, it's funny that you say that, doctor. A buddy of mine referred me to you, and that's why I'm here today. I was with a previous doctor. She said, oh, really? Who was that? I said, it's such and such. And she said, well, I do remember him. That is one charismatic guy. And if you met him, that dude can convince you to, charge the front lines of the German army in World War II. He's that kind of dude, and a very motivating fella. And so I started laughing because I was like, she clearly remembers my friend. Like that's just his mantra. And she said, yeah, that is one of those things. Hip, if I remember, I had to do both hips. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, well, who was your previous doctor? And I said, well, it's the same as his. And I named him. And she goes, oh, yeah, he's retired now. I said, really? She said, yeah, he retired the end of last year, which could not have been a few months from the last time I met with him. I mean, it was that close. And I'm like, okay. And she said, but understand, old school doctors are not wrong. They want to be right. And his manner of thinking is successful. He is so strict on that criteria. What he does never fails.
Right.
I will tell you that what I do, I take other factors into place, and they haven't failed yet in circumstances like yours, like your friends. And so I will choose quality of life, because if I sit here and beat you over the head with, 100 more pounds of weight loss, you may never get there. But the whole time you're trying, guess what you're doing? Suffering.
Right.
I said, wow.
And I feel like it's almost just kind of leading you on, like, if you keep losing pounds and he just keeps saying lose more, like there's no other, like, well, maybe we could try this, I don't know, diet plan or this specific exercise. It's just like, well, just go try again.
Yeah.
And there's no positive.
Yeah, it's just a long 2-lane road, no ending in sight.
Yeah.
It's very discouraging. And so I said, well, doctor, thank you. I really don't know what to say to you other than thank you. And she goes, well, you're still surprised. I'm like, it's going to take me a minute to catch up to what you just told me.
You're like still trying to process.
So it's October 17th.
Yeah.
And she says, well, and she turns and looks at her computer and she's like, well, I was about to tell you too, I had a cancellation. I can do the left knee on November 13th. And I was like, what? She said, yeah. That's too early. We can wait. My schedule opens up in February or March. I said, no, ma'am. You can do it tomorrow. If you can, I'll do it tomorrow. And she said, all right, well, I'm going to put you in for November 13th. That's less than 30 days. That never happens in the surgery world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's usually, a month or two out unless there's some emergency situation. And so I said, let me just call my wife and make sure the calendar is clear. So I actually called Amy from the room. She would never answer because she works in a school.
Right.
But she answered. Like, that never happens.
Praise
so
God.
I'm like, hey, honey, I ain't got time to talk about this.
Yeah.
She wants to replace my left knee on November 13th. That's less than 30 days away. And she's like, oh my gosh. Holy answered prayers. Take it. I don't care. I'll clear the schedule. I was like, okay, thank you. I'll call you when I'm out of here. And I hung up. It's like a 1-minute phone call, I said, we're good to go, doc. And she's like, okay. Can I resume my pre-op conversation with you now, sir? And I was just like, yes, you can. And that alone I felt like I just took a giant lift on a cloud. I felt so light. That's not even a reference to the weight thing. I just felt
right.
Like just amazing. I haven't felt that way physically in a long time. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, relief is coming.
Wow.
And she went through the whole thing about how she's going to tear up my knee and replace it all with good parts. So I got a bunch of metal in there now, and it's been great. But that's not where it all ends, man. This whole thing just keeps accelerating.
Wow. Yeah, because they haven't done the right one yet.
They haven't done the right one. But all the timing of everything, I'm still worried about promotional assessments coming up. I knew they were coming.
When is that?
So trying to get promoted to the next rank. And so.
Is that soon?
Well, as I'm about to tell you, it already happened.
Oh, it already happened.
That was October 17th of the doctor's appointment. The following week, it gets announced that they are going to have promotional assessments in November. And they're the week before my newly scheduled surgery, 1 week before. So I'm like, well, I guess that's good. They're before the surgery, so I can get it in. But, man, I don't want to do it. In my world, I told you this before, Christian, like taking the test and then not accepting a promotional offer is a really bad thing. You may
Right.
not get the opportunity again
Right.
for a few years. But to not take it by choice, it's okay. So I did not want to take it, score high enough to be considered, and then, sorry, I can't do it till my knees are
Right.
replaced and healed. And so I'm just, oh my gosh, Lord, please. So, you I'd say you pray harder, but you just pray more focused.
Yeah.
My prayers are being answered about my knees. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thanking for that. But now I need some wisdom and direction. Do I pursue my career aspirations or do I just wait?
Yeah.
Because it could be 2 or 3 years before I can test again. Because
Right.
you get put on a list, essentially. And so I'm sitting there having lunch on a Tuesday. So that would have been like the 21st or so.
Of October.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to turn in your letter of intent to participate in that stuff the following Monday. So the 27th or something roughly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I got to make my mind up by the end of the week and get this letter in if I'm going to do it.
Right.
And so I always eat lunch in my office. I take my lunch. So I just, I'm praying while I'm eating. I'm not talking about grace. I'm just praying while I'm
just
eating.
praying. Yeah.
Lord, I need to know what to do because I don't want to, mess up the future and I don't want to miss the future.
Yes.
And I finish eating, start working again. At 1 o'clock, one of our higher ranking people from the upper floor comes down. Somebody I interact with all the time because of the position I'm in. So it was not an uncommon visit.
Yeah.
But when he walked in the door, he was asking me like personal questions. So I knew it was just a social visit. He wasn't coming in there with a purpose, And he goes, did you turn in your letter for the assessment yet? No, sir, I have not. And so he came in and sat down and he goes, you need to assess. We need you to assess.
This is your boss?
He's not my boss. He's actually one of our like legal advisors, like an attorney for the county department kind of thing. So
you don't like have to listen to him, but it's probably a good idea to listen to him.
Right. And he is somebody I do have a great deal of respect for
Okay.
in our department and my career. He's just a very wise guy.
Yeah.
He actually spent 30 years in law enforcement before becoming an attorney. So he's a lot older than me.
Yeah.
But he just said, let me just explain something to you. I know what you're worried about. I'm like, you do? He goes, we've talked about it before. It's been a while. You're worried about your knees.
Yeah.
I said, yes, sir. I said, I don't think I'm going to do it. I said, I can't. He knows what I'm talking about when I can't take the test and turn it down. And if I don't take it, I miss it. I don't really know what I'm going to do. And he goes, well, let me just explain something to you. They're not going to promote you when you're having surgery, rehabbing, and healing. They're not going to move you. They're not going to do anything to you. But what they do want you to score high enough to be on that list. I said, okay, what are you trying to say? He goes, while you're healing, it would be a terrible liability to move you.
Right.
So you're not going anywhere. You're going to keep this job, this position. He goes, but also they can't stop you from taking the test, scoring high, and then you're on it until you're healed. And I said, so what you're telling me is I'm safe for the next 12 months? Because that's essentially what it's going to take. And he goes, yes. The minute you are fully cleared, you could be promoted and moved. Would that be okay with you?
Wow.
And I was like, well, yes, sir, that's exactly what I would need it to be. And he said, you need to turn your letter in by Monday. I don't care. You got to do it. Don't hold yourself back, Taylor. And I was like, okay, sir.
I love how in these like moments, I mean, it's obvious that God is like just placing stuff.
It was less than an hour after I prayed about it.
Right. And you're just like, wait, what?
Is that you?
Right. And you're saying like, what'd you just say? Or like, how's this going to happen? It's really cool to hear the story of this. I mean, I don't know if I've really been through something that's like this long of a period of time now. I'm only 17, so I don't have as many years as you do. But I mean, I think about when I was sick over the summer and everything. And, I went to 5 different doctors. Nobody could tell me what was wrong. And I remember I decided I was going to find a scripture that I was going to pray. And that was going to be what I prayed every day.
Yeah.
And, it was Jeremiah 17:14. It's either 17:14 or 14:17. But it says, "Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. For you are my praise." And so every day I would pray that scripture crying and just hoping that either the doctors figured out how to do their job and tell me what was wrong, or God just said, "Okay, I'm gonna take this from you." And this happened while I was out of town. And then I came back, had my concert, which I didn't think I thought I was gonna have to cancel it. And then I was just better 2 days before, and I was able to do it. And then I got sick again, so relapsed. And that was crazy. I mean, I lost 20 pounds, but just remembering those nights of crying and God, I don't know why I'm going through this, but I just remember hanging on to, but even if I have to deal with this for the rest of my life, right? And that might seem dramatic, but even if I have to deal with pain like this for the rest of my life, it's not going to change who you are. And so to hear you talk about, years of pain, years of hurt, and then the whole time God's just I have this ready.
Pay attention, son.
Yeah, literally. He's I have something coming for you, and I think about the scripture that we talk about, he can do more than we can think or imagine. And I think sometimes, you could think okay, this surgery is going to happen. I'm going to be healed from this, but you don't think about it in the way that God's going to do it. And it's so cool to just sit here and me try to process okay, what was Taylor Davis years ago when he's hurting, when he's confused, when he's there's no more hope.
Lost.
Yeah. And then God's just I'm going to bring this friend who you're not really close with. He's going to talk to you. You're going to go talk to this doctor, and she's going to tell you it's happening. No conversation, no years of, working towards it. It's just, hey, this is happening, and are you ready? And then, with the job thing, that's something else to be worried about, right? You're the provider of the family, and then you got this guy that comes in there, and he's there's no way that this is going to hurt you. If anything, it's going to help you once you're ready and better.
Oh, yeah, and you just sit there in disbelief.
Right.
I took that home to Amy. She knows who these people are. So
right.
He came down and visited me, which I thought it was one of the usual business meetings, and then he tells me all this, and she goes, are you joking? No. She's like, okay, so what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. Is that right? That doesn't make sense. Can that be correct?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, just keep praying about it. You have a few days, but it sounds like it's a good thing. And so it happened again, man. Another thing happens again. Yeah. And it was like Jesus himself walking around, smacking me across the cheek and saying, are you going to pay attention?
Yeah.
I am here for you. The next afternoon, so I talked to Amy that night. The next afternoon, one of the highest ranking people in the department came down and visited me, which is completely unusual.
Yeah.
And he goes, did such and such visit you yesterday? Yes, sir. And I've known this guy my whole career too. And he starts doing the first name thing with me instead of the formal law enforcement, rank stuff. And I was like, okay, and he, as soon as I said yes, he came and visited me. He came and sat down. And he goes, I want you on the list. We're not going to move you or promote you until you are ready. Take the assessment. And I was like, looking up at the ceiling. Like, I don't know, man.
Shoo.
And he looks at me and he goes, "What are you looking around so nervous for?"
Oh, you were actually looking around.
Yes. He goes, "What are you looking around so nervous for?" I said, "I'm just in disbelief that I'm having this conversation right now with you." And he's like, "Well, he wanted to come down first." And I said, "Fine, but I'm going down there." And I came down today. And I was like, "Your timing is impeccable. I just want you to know that." And so he goes, "Well, you need to hang a couple pictures on your bare walls in this office, but other than that, I need to see your name on the list to participate."
Wow.
Okay. "All right, sir." And he goes, "Have a good one." And he just leaves. He went in my office 2 minutes. And I was just like, I teared up. I was like, okay, I questioned it last night, and today I'm getting smacked across the face by my Savior himself. Like, I told you yesterday.
Yeah.
I told you yesterday. I'm telling you again. So I'll go a little quicker at this point, but I turned in my letter to participate.
Yeah.
The assessment took place on November 5th, which is the Tuesday before my surgery.
Right.
So I had time to prepare, do all that without having to worry about knees and doctors. And then just last Thursday, this past week, Thursday, I found out that I scored well high enough to be on the list.
Wow.
So all I have to do right now is get my knee healed, get the other one replaced, get that one healed. And I swear, Lord, you know, Jesus, take the wheel.
Right.
I can't say anything. I will not question that again. I will not. And you talk about scripture that was kind of motivating you and what you focused on. And there were a couple for me that I found during all this.
Right.
But I first thought of, and it's kind of funny, no specific scriptural reference, but a moment in time in the Old Testament. And I was just like, good Lord, I'm like the Israelites just not listening.
Yeah.
Out in the wilderness. Just keep getting it wrong.
Right.
And then they finally listen and the plan is delivered to them.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt. Like, how stupid have I been to not rely on them? So the fact that I'm sitting here now in the condition I am is just crazy. It's been since September to today, literally right at 2 months, it has been unbelievable, amazing, and completely unexpected. So, I mean, I hope that other people can understand that the Lord doesn't always specifically answer what you're saying, what you're wanting, but he's got something for it.
Yeah.
You might be waiting. I've had to wait. You might be suffering from it.
Yeah.
I suffered from it, but he has something far more laid out than you could ever think.
Wow.
And he's going to smack you across the cheek with it if you're not really paying attention or you doubt him.
Yeah.
Or you doubt him. It's been quite an eye-opening thing for me. And like I said, I've been a Christian for about 25 years, and never have I been more focused than the last several years, but even in the last couple of months is a completely different thing.
Right.
And it's wild. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Man, that's a story. That's a story. Okay, so that kind of wrapped up part one.
Yeah.
Man.
Can I reference this scripture real quick?
Yeah.
So I just took some notes on it. I don't have the actual one at the moment without looking all of it up. But in 1 Peter 5, Peter's writing this, but he basically is talking about humbling yourself. And there's a couple of words in this scripture that hit me, like the conversations did with my coworkers and bosses.
Yeah.
Humble yourself so that at the proper time, and that's the one that gets me, he may exalt you. So casting all your anxieties on him,
Yes.
because he cares for you. And so, biblical words are funny, exalt. What the heck is exalt?
Right. Or sanctify. I've been talking about that a lot recently.
And, one of those definitions for exalt is just to lift you up, man.
Yes.
And so that is where I've sat. It's just the proper time.
Right.
I am being lifted up. His time is the proper time, not mine.
And it's so much greater, so much sweeter when we step out the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm reading through Romans right now, and Paul talks about what is hope. Hope is not hope if you can see it. Hope is the unseen. And so when you can stand in, when you don't know how this is going to happen, when you don't know where the answer is going to come out and all that stuff, but you say, Lord, I'm just going to trust you. Don't know why, don't know how. I'm just going to trust you that you're going to come through in some way. And I think it helps us recognize how much greater he is when we stop trying to be God and we let him be God, and when he does what only he can do. It's something that you can't really explain. We try to explain it, but it still won't come nearly as close as how we really want to say it,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into kind of a different topic. Uh-oh. This might be a fun one to discuss. So I want to know, the next section is on relationship. And so being a married man with 2 children, right? What's the story of, I know some of this, but my big following does not.
Okay.
What is the story of you and Miss Amy, your wife? How did y'all meet?
We met in college. We went to the glorious institution of Georgia Southern University. Little fun note on it is I was kind of, I guess I'm technically a stalker.
A stalker?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm the same.
So my first year down there, my friends and I that I had, who actually transferred out after that year, so they were long gone. But
yeah,
my first year there, I saw a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead walking around together. Amy, as you know, is the blonde.
Mm-hmm.
And I would frequently see those 3 girls on campus, whether dining, off campus at a restaurant, just seemed like
they always just kind of popped up.
Yeah, and it was unique. This blonde, brunette, and a redhead.
Yeah,
they ended up, later figure out they were roommates and stuff. But I made a joke like the second semester of that year to a buddy when I saw him again. I was like, "Hey, look, Steve, there's the blonde again. That's the girl I'm going to marry right there."
No.
And he just started laughing. He's from New York. And
you just randomly made that comment?
I made that comment. I said, that's a girl I'm going to marry right there, man. Why would she be in my life all these times? Why do I keep seeing her?
Right.
And he goes, well, what about the blonde and the brunette and the redhead? You see them all the time too. I go, yeah, they just don't have the same power, and you're just joking around.
Yeah.
And
man, these God moments are so cool.
It's really funny. So, go back to the year ends. I go back home to my parents for the summer, and didn't think anything about it. It was just
right. It was just a joke.
Yeah, just a joke. I'd never met her. I didn't follow her around or anything. But so when you go back the beginning of the year, there's kind of a tradition down there where there's these, I guess for lack of a better term, it's like a block party, but it's not like a rowdy thing. There was,
okay.
It was like the football stadium would have students in for events, and so you'd have thousands of people out there and preceding the first football game at home. And so I go to this gathering block party thing, and it's all put on by the school, so it's very centralized, easy to get to. And my roommate of the previous year finds me and he's like, "Hey, come, let me introduce you to a bunch of people." Sure. So we go over to this place. It's like I remember it being a staircase. I don't remember where that was, but it's like a staircase going up to the second floor, an exterior staircase of the building, and hundreds of people all around us. And we get over there, and there's no blonde, brunette, and a redhead, but there is a blonde. And he goes, "Hey, this is a friend of mine from back home. This is Amy." And I went, I was just like, I didn't say it to her, but I'm like, that girl is really familiar to me. Who is this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's that girl.
I just met the blonde. I just met her. And so my old roommate introduces me, and I'm hanging out with them for most of the evening at this gathering. And I was like, holy crap, I just met her.
Yeah.
That's her. Well, my friend who was from New York, he transferred home. He did not stay at Southern. He's kind of homesick. So I would have run to him and been like, you're not going to believe this, dude. I just met the blonde. Tell me that's not a sign, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So make a long story short, I was hanging out with that circle of friends, getting to know them. That's on a Thursday night. So that weekend is the college football. There's a home game. So my old roommate invites me over to an apartment to eat and hang out before we all walk over to the stadium. And I walk in, and there was the brunette and the redhead with her. And then I knew I'd met the right person. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I'm in their apartment. It was their apartment too. So from that moment on, I'm just like, this is crazy. What's going on? So I say I'm going to, I just messed that up. I got it out of order. The football game came first. I went to the football game, and I'm coming down the student section.
Okay.
And there's my old roommate, and he's like 6'5", so he stands out like a sore thumb. I'm like, okay, there he is. He's with the blonde I met the other night, and there's the brunette and the redhead standing with her and him and this other group. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the three. It's the three girls. So I went down there. I met them. Ironically, they were in our wedding and we were in theirs, kind of thing. You know, so they were all in a great inner circle of friends the whole time I was down there after that. And then Amy and I started dating within about a month or two of that. So the apartment thing happened when he's like, "Come on over. We're gonna have some dinner another night."
Right.
And that's when first time I went to the apartment, and it was her apartment. And there's like 10 people in there grilling out and hanging out. And then it wasn't a month or two later when we started dating. So all of that just really funny. Amy always says, "I don't believe that. I don't believe it." So I invited my New York buddy to our wedding. He came.
Yeah.
And I said, "What'd you think about the bride and a couple of the bridesmaids?" And he goes, "The blonde, the brunette, and the redhead." He goes, "Amy is the blonde?" Because he's been gone a while.
Right,
we didn't get married till 2000. That was in 1995, He's like, "Amy's the blonde?" I'm like, "Yep." And I was like, "Amy, come here, honey." And she comes over and I go, "This is Steve from New York." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Taylor's told me so much about you." And he goes, "I can't believe he married the blonde." And she looked at me. She never believed that story until that moment.
The story that you just saw them.
Yeah. And that I had said that the year before.
Yeah.
And she turned you could tell you weren't joking or lying to me. He was dead serious right there. So it was a pretty cool little moment.
That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
At the reception.
Let's see. So I guess when did you know that she was the one you were going to marry? Was it when y'all started dating that was kind of like confirmation that this is the girl, or?
I felt that pretty early on. I couldn't put a time frame on it. It was definitely within several months.
Yeah.
If not a few, but Amy's actually the person that kind of led me to Christ officially.
Wow. Yeah.
I had a couple of friends back in Colorado whose families had some terrible tragedies.
Yeah.
The one of note was one of my closest friends' mothers died of cancer, but it it was really weird because she did not tell anyone that she was ever diagnosed and refused treatment and didn't tell anyone.
Oh my goodness.
So when she died, and the doctor said, well, I mean, it was expected. She had full-blown stage 42 cancer and didn't want the treatment. And they're like, what? Even the husband.
She didn't tell anybody.
She didn't tell anybody. And the reason she didn't tell anybody,
Man.
she didn't want anybody to suffer, worry, and be concerned about it. She was just going to keep living life until she couldn't physically do it anymore. And, looking back, I remember a couple of moments where I'd spend the night and she just seemed like she was in pain.
Right.
And now I know why. She was holding in all of that. And she apparently did it because she had such aggressive cancer that really treatment would have prolonged the death, and it would have been a long suffering existence is the way she looked at it. So when that happened, it was during the first, probably 3 to 5 months of me dating Amy. And we ended up over at the football stadium in the parking lot talking, and it had been on my mind on and off my whole life. I was about 25 then.
Right.
And I just felt terrible that there wasn't more for her, because I knew they weren't in any form going to a church.
Right.
And I gave my life to Christ that night in her car in an empty football stadium parking lot.
Man.
Matter of fact, the place that we were at no longer exists because they built a giant indoor practice facility for the football team on it. So that part of the parking lot is gone now, but the water tower right there,
Still there.
Every time I see the water tower when I get to Statesboro, I go, hey, there's the water tower.
Yeah.
I was about 100 feet from that, But
wow.
I got baptized in a little tiny church. It was about as big as the old chapel right here that the youth use.
Yeah.
It was called Gracewood Baptist. It has changed names, and it's still there, but it's not the same congregation.
Yeah.
And the rest is history on that. That's when I truly understood what my faith was all about and what the hope in Jesus Christ really meant.
Yeah.
And it was an emotional night.
So, what's the best piece of advice you would give to a dating or married couple?
Wow. You learn the hard way, Christian. Is
it true? Happy wife, happy life.
It is true, but it's also reciprocal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ephesians is not wrong. Paul is, he hits it right on the head. Giving yourself up for her.
Right.
The way Christ did for us, and her, essentially doing the same. The submission to each other is really something that took me a long time to really get right. So I would say that my best advice would be go look at Ephesians 5. And when it talks about sacrificing yourself for your spouse in both directions,
right,
adhere to that. Heed those words. The selflessness and the humility that it gives you will be echoing beyond that relationship, and it will spread into others. Because if you're selfish on your own, just with what you want, what you're going to do, it will also be the same way outside of your marriage. And so when I finally kind of got better at that, I'm sure Amy could really highlight some points. But when I got better at that, when I acknowledged it and I realized it, then that is where our relationship truly took off.
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell you it was in the first 5 years. But it took couple of children and wisdom to get to that point where it's like, holy cow, I've got to do more.
Right.
I've got to give up more.
Yes.
One, to show I care and I love her, but to make this the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the sacrifice that Christ made for us is the ultimate, a torturous death
Yeah.
of sacrifice. I mean, gosh, how hard is it for me to do more if he did all that? You know,
Right.
so that is something that probably 10 years into my marriage, I finally started to comprehend and did not get it right until probably about 10 years ago. I keep going back on that 10 years.
Yeah.
The last 10 years have been different. So sacrificing for each other unconditionally will be phenomenal.
There you have it.
In a marriage.
Relationship advice right there.
Ding, ding.
Okay, let's shift over to the next thing because I know you got to go soon. So your career. So you're in the police force.
Mm-hmm.
What is your position right now?
Currently, I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Okay. Wow. You're high up there, huh? Well, lieutenant's pretty good, right?
It's not bad.
Okay.
No complaints.
How did you get into the police force and why?
Going back to, I guess, the high school days, I
Yeah.
really started to get an interest in it. I took a couple of elective law classes in high school as I got ready to graduate that last, probably my junior and senior year. And then I had a buddy who ended up becoming a cop as well. We like to kind of chase the lights and sirens and see what was going on. So I probably could have gotten in trouble for that at times.
Oh, y'all actually just go.
We'd see them go by and we'd follow. No, we weren't doing as fast as they were. We tried to
That's funny.
safely keep up, but we'd show up to high-rise buildings in Denver and they're, getting people out because there's a fire on the 13th, whatever.
That's crazy.
Everything to, we'd pull up on an active crime scene, see somebody laying on the ground and just hang out and watch and see what they did. And it was crazy.
No way.
Oh yeah, it was funny. So I really developed a desire for it in high school with him, specifically when we had driver's licenses so we could actually move. But and then when I went to college, I majored in criminal justice because that's what I knew I wanted to do. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody these days. It's not a specific enough degree to really help you. It's very broad and covering all facets of it and not specialized.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you're a history major, you're going to focus on a certain period or type of history.
Right.
It doesn't really work like that in criminal justice. So I don't recommend that specific major.
Yeah.
It would probably suit you better to go into sociology or learn a foreign language, major in Spanish or things like that. But nonetheless, I did it because I wanted to, and I wouldn't change it for me. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist.
No. What do you think has been the challenging part of your career? I mean, would you say the knee stuff, or is there maybe something else that happened?
The knee stuff has certainly added its problems,
right,
without a doubt. It's limited what I've wanted to do and been able to do. So that does stink. But no, the most challenging stuff came in 8 to 10 years ago, where I was put in a couple of positions that were what I would consider the hardest jobs I've ever had. I worked in what is known as internal affairs, where you're constantly dealing with, complaints on employees and also that are not, most of them are not like criminal allegations, but you deal with those too, sadly, in the volume that happens with a small staff. And our agency is about 450 employees. So,
and that's small.
That's actually considered very large.
Oh, very large.
Yeah. Like the anomaly agencies of the thousands are just a few of the major cities. 100 is considered large in law enforcement. There's so many law enforcement agencies. So to be in the hundreds is actually very large.
Okay.
You take off the LAs and the New Yorks, who are 12,000 and 40,000 strong. I mean, they're anomalies.
Wow.
Chicago and Atlanta, they're nowhere near that size. So really just it kind of caused some problems on a workload at home, coming in on weekends to finish things. As soon as I got done from church, I'm headed to the office for the next 6 or 7 hours, taking off your wife, So that period of working basically what we call the chief staff, you're on and you answer to the chief, and it was a great challenge. It might look good on my resume one day if I ever needed it, but that was the toughest job.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine is now in that position now, and he said, "You weren't joking, man. This is the hardest thing I've ever done."
So you'd never go back to that?
Not by choice.
Yeah.
Not by choice. That it really is.
And is that higher ranking than where you're at now?
It will be. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is. There's positions for my rank and above it, captains too. So it's just an overwhelming volume.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it to you. It is just, you're like the funnel of the entire department. So all the trash would come through you, and you've got to filter it and brief the chief, make a decision on this. I mean, it's just so much, so much. So,
I know we talked about this before we got started. So what's the craziest, or one of the craziest stories you could share that you've experienced in the department?
I would go back to early in my career as a little patrolman on the road.
Oh my goodness.
I was always warned by some of the older guys that when it happens, you're going to be so adrenalized, you're going to be shaking, physically shaking. Because you just, all that anxiety and adrenaline dumping. When that moment comes, like, well, what is that moment? They're like, oh, it's different for everybody, but it's going to happen. Just be ready. Rely on your training. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So sure enough, one of my academy mates who graduated from the police academy with me at the same time, so we had the same amount of experience. The only thing different is he was a soldier before the police department, and he actually had some combat tours back in the days of Somalia and Black Hawk Down and all that stuff. So he served time out there with UN forces and all that. So he probably has a little bit more of that ability to cope with some of that stress than this little prima donna college kid, supported by parents his whole life. Way to go, son, that kind of thing. But so we responded to, which it's no secret, domestic disturbance calls, family violence.
And so you're just a normal cop right now.
Normal patrolman, no rank, just a little patrolman.
Yeah.
I've been probably cut loose from all my training maybe 4 months. So I'm
very fresh.
What they call solo.
Okay.
And so we get dispatched to a domestic violence call at this apartment complex, and it's one of our lesser desirable apartment complexes. So you always, kind of extra careful in that one of those environments. But we get there, and as soon as we pull into the parking lot and we park kind of away from the building to walk in safely to that building and find the apartment, the wife comes flying out of the door. It's a downstairs apartment right at ground level. She comes flying out.
Now, y'all going in there with sirens, or y'all just pulling up?
No, we just pulled up. It was, when you get dispatched, they'll upgrade or downgrade the level of response based on what they know through the 911 call. Okay. And so it was a normal, what we call priority 2, where you get there without delay, but we're not running lights and sirens. Right. Just we heard some arguing in the background. The wife is asking for police. We get that kind of scenario a lot. Yeah. And so we pull in, but it was a domestic, and we're also in kind of a bad complex. And as soon as we pull in and park, we aren't out of our car a second, or 2 cars. And the wife comes flying out, running, screaming, asking for help. And and my children are still in there. And we're like, how many children are in there? And 4. And you're just like, what?
This has all happened very fast.
Instantly. Yeah. Instantly. And I just remember the skin on my hair on my arms rising. I'm actually getting chill bumps thinking about it right now. But
oh my goodness.
So we're like, okay. And we're like, are there weapons in the house? She goes, he's going to get his guns right now. He's going to get them right now. I don't know what to do. He said he's going to kill me. All that kind of. No way. And just like, oh, I remember in the back of my head, they said I wouldn't know when it happened, but they told me I'd know when it was there.
Yeah.
Here I am. Oh boy, Lord, here I am. So we are unholstering our weapons and we're headed to the door. And it's a very unique thing where there's a main entrance, like a front door to the apartment, but they actually have like a back door on the same wall that goes like into what is actually the kitchen. So like living room here, kitchen here, but there's doors. So he is covering the front door while I'm covering what is the kitchen door. And they're not 20 feet apart. I mean, it's the same wall. And I'm just waiting for that door. Well,
wait, y'all are in the apartment?
No, we're outside it.
Outside.
Covering the door. And my partner is, yelling commands. Where are you? Where are you, sir? Whatever. Well, John says, cover the front for me.
That's
for a second.
the other officer?
Yeah, my buddy. He's like, cover this door for a second. So I'm like, okay. So I swing back to my right to cover the door. And about the time I do it, John, it's like a 2-step up platform to get to the door.
Okay.
And he goes to the door frame, but as he's moving up those 2 steps, this all happens so fast, I'm really slowing it down. It's like little toddler pops his head out of the door, and I'm like waiting for someone to pop out.
Oh my goodness.
He's like 3-4 years old, just nee, and I'm like, holy crap. And he comes up there, grabs this kid by the back of his shirt. He literally picks him up like he's hooked on his collar.
The dad?
No, my partner.
Oh, partner.
Yeah, there's no dad yet.
Yeah.
He gets him, and the mom came running up as he did that, and he put his gun in his left hand, and he's handing her over the little railing. Get back to the car. So
this is
I'm
crazy.
like, holy crap. So I turn back to the other door. He starts giving orders. He goes, I have contact, meaning he sees the male. And he immediately starts yelling, drop the gun. Drop it. And I mean, he's a few explicatives thrown in there. He is so excited. And I mean, he's yelling, trying to order those commands as fast as he can. And he's like, get me, meaning come back me up. So I forget that door. He goes straight in the front door, and I come around the door frame right behind him, and there he is. And he's holding, if you're not familiar with this, is an old 90s gun, because popular with the punks out there, a Tech 9. It's a really big looking handgun, 9mm, but it looks like a Uzi, even though it's not really an Uzi.
I probably know that from like a video game.
He's got a Tech 9 in his hand at his side, and John is yelling, you better drop that gun. And he's not moving. He's just smiling at us, glancing at both of us. And we're in 2 different positions, like triangulated on him. And he is non-compliant, just standing there.
So he's not even pointing the gun at y'all. He's just holding it down?
Both sides. Yeah, just holding it at his sides. His other hand's by his side, and he's holding that Tech 9 in his right hand. All he's got to do is just raise that forearm, and we're in trouble, So my buddy, again, I think some combat experience took over for him. We talked about it later, but all in that moment, he's not complying. You don't want it to remain that way. He could decide to turn and go that way, and now you're chasing him. You don't want that. So he runs up and just knocks him to the ground. He just buffaloes him, like a linebacker kind of, and knocks him to the floor. And he gets that Tech 9 away from him and slides it across the floor back towards me.
Wait. So, like, y'all are going in the door. This guy's standing there. How many feet away do you think you are from the guy before he moves in to hit him?
I'm probably about 10 to 15 feet, and he's probably 7 or 8 feet.
So he's pretty close.
He's very close to him, to my partner. I'm actually on the other side of a sofa. I'm actually on the other side of a sofa. So I'd have to go around the sofa or over it to get to him, whereas he's at the end of the sofa and just goes straight at him. And I mean, he basically hit him like a linebacker.
Wow.
And so, which kind of freaks you out because both of them are holding weapons. Even my partner, you don't want one to go off and hit the wrong person.
Right.
So I'm just making sure I keep it. Well, then now he's on top of him, and he slings that Tech 9 back behind him towards the sofa. and past the sofa where I can see it on the floor. And I move around. Well, then he is holstered, and he is now wrestling with his left hand. And he is reached up around John, pulling on him, trying to get him off of him with his right arm. And John is wrestling with his left hand. And so John's like, I need some help over here. He's got another one. So I had to come around.
Another gun?
Another gun. So I come around and basically get really close with my pistol before he realized it's about to be over. And he relaxed his hand, and he had like a small Derringer 2-shot pistol, little with like 38 caliber bullets in it, little 2-shot.
Okay.
And all it would have taken was him to get that thing turned in the right direction, and he could fire 2 rounds into John. So we get the Derringer away. He slings that back over towards the Tech 9. We roll him over. We get him handcuffed. And so as soon as you get him handcuffed, though, you got to make sure everything else is safe. So the pucker factor is still really strong.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I got the rest. I got the rest. You stay with him. So I turn and I have to go back, and it's not a huge apartment, but it's got like 3 other rooms, a bathroom and 2 bedrooms off this little tiny hallway in the back corner over there near where we are.
Yeah.
And so I go, the bathroom's clear, the first bedroom's clear, the last bedroom, the door's closed and locked. And of course, you're always like, oh my gosh, who's behind this door? Like,
yeah. Don't tell me it gets even crazier.
So, well, emotionally it does. So I'm like, do we know what's in this room? Do we know what's in this room? Is anybody else in the room? The guy won't answer as he, basically using profanity at us, whatever. And I didn't say it before. He'd already beat up the wife pretty good.
Oh.
So I meant to say that when she ran out the door, it was clearly she'd taken some blows to the face.
Dang.
But I've got to kick the door in and just go because it's locked. So I kick the door in and I cut that corner and go in. There wasn't 4 other children in there. There was like 7 kids in this room, huddled up in the far corner of the room, scared to death.
Oh my goodness.
They were friends from the complex with the kids that actually lived there, and this whole domestic thing broke out. So when you cut that corner with your gun, I'm lasering all these children, and none of them are older than 8. I mean, it's like,
oh my goodness,
probably 5 to 8 years old, maybe 9.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, anybody else in here besides you guys? And they're like scared to death, shaking their head. No. I look in the closet under the bed, I'm like, we're clear, all's clear, we're good to go. And so I holster, I'm like, took a knee, and I'm talking to them. Everything's gonna be okay, you guys. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And they calmed down. One of them actually came up and like kind of hugged me, like a thank you moment. That was really sweet and very uncomfortable because you're like, I just pointed a gun at the kid,
Yeah.
It's very unnerving. And so we go back out and we get him up off the floor. He's handcuffed, and we get him out to the car. And by that time, I had no idea. We'd put out a help call on the radio and all that, so the cavalry was arriving, but the moment was over, thank goodness. But we get out there. There's probably 150 people out there at our cars waiting to see what happens.
No way.
Turns out about 50 of them were relatives of the husband and the wife. And so we had this faction yelling and screaming at her that it's all her fault, and this faction yelling and screaming at them that it's his fault. We needed crowd control for the relatives. And this is like extended family, like longtime Clayton County
150?
There's like 150 people. Most of them are just spectators, but like a third of that group was like 25 from this side of the family and 25.
Oh my.
And they were about to go to blows over what we just dealt with. It was the craziest thing in the world. So John is walking him out to the car, and we got 7 or 8 officers kind of keeping everybody back.
Okay, so there is more officers.
Oh yeah,
now.
they've arrived. They know
Okay.
we got to kind of help keep things secure. Plus, we got to deal with the kids inside. We already sent an officer inside to be with them.
Right.
So I help walk them out, and I stop about halfway there, and John continues with them to the car. They get about 5 feet from the car, and some dude pops out of the crowd from between the officers and just lays one right on the bad guy's face. I mean, just
Oh, my.
drilled him, about knocks him unconscious. He definitely knocked him silly. And we're like, okay. So a couple guys jump on him, secure him in handcuffs. It was total chaos, man. Put them in separate cars, make sure we actually had them drive those two guys away from the scene so we wouldn't have more problems.
Right.
And then I went back in the apartment to do everything, get the guns, deal with the kids. And this is probably the worst part of all of that.
Oh, no.
So I pick up the Tech 9. It's fully loaded with a big long magazine of bullets in it. And can't get it to eject the magazine, much less the round in the chamber. So I'm like banging on it, doing what we're taught to do, tap, rack, bang, can't get it. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with this freaking gun?
Yeah.
It's a piece of junk. What is this? And I'm holding it down safely. I
feel like I know where this is going.
Pointing it at the floor, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And about that time, my vision focuses from the gun to what is below me. And it is an infant in a car seat right below the barrel of the gun.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
A picture or real?
A real baby in a car seat sitting on the floor. We never even saw the baby the whole time we were in there. Just sitting there asleep. Little angel. As cute as can be.
As you're trying to take apart this gun.
As a police officer is standing over him, getting frustrated, me, banging on it. I mean, the barrel is a foot from this child. And I am, as soon as I realize it, oh my gosh. And one of the other officers that had arrived and was in the apartment with me was like, what's going on? Like,
yeah.
Make this weapon safe. And it's a female officer, and she looked down. She's like, did what I think just happened? I said, yes, I'm taking this child outside to his mom. And she's like, holy cow. I said, yeah, that's it for me today. I think I'm done. It was near the end of the night. Anyways, I think that's about all the emotional drag I can carry.
Oh, my goodness.
I've inadvertently pointed a firearm at about, 8 or 9 kids today. Granted, the first 7 or 8 was a legit turning the corner, trying to clear an apartment. But the last one, that kind of got me a little bit because it wouldn't have mattered what I tried to explain tomorrow. And so that was it, man. But
so you walk in, you find the gun, and just did not see this car seat.
Never noticed it at all. Never even paid attention to it. It was like the it wasn't the big kind like with the handle. It's more a one that's the one you would actually buckle into a car now. Now these days you got the detachable carry basket, so it's just your standard
a
little seat
thing.
that's not strapped into a car. It's just sitting on the floor, and this baby is in it sleeping the whole time. It was sleeping the whole time we're in there. I mean, John walked by it a couple of times, not only in engaging with him, but when they were done,
So this definitely had to be, I mean, you're like high energy.
Oh, man.
Like there's,
Oh, man, yeah. And they talk about, you're going to be shaking when you're done. Essentially, I was back in the car, and I'm filling out paperwork to take that guy to jail and help him out. I could not we handwrite some of those documents. I could not physically write the document. I had to take like 30 minutes of deep breathing to just settle the nerves and whatever. It was the first time I'd ever been thrown into a situation like that.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was by far the craziest adrenaline dump I've ever had in my life. I mean, it was nuts. I will never forget looking down the top of that gun, and that baby is sitting on the floor in a car seat, knocked out, sleeping. And I probably was banging on that weapon for a good 30 seconds to a minute of trying to figure out how to discharge the magazine and get the round. I mean, and the weapon was hot, as we say. It was, I touched the wrong part of the gun. I'm doing some damage.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say you like shot some rounds, and then here comes another police force.
Thank goodness that did not happen, because it would have been far more than that. It was crazy. It really was a very
man.
You feel guilty and fired up all at the same time. You ended a bad situation, and you did something really boneheaded when you weren't paying attention. Stupid rookie thing, basically. So, yeah.
Man.
wild, man.
Well, I mean, I used to want to be a cop when I was growing up, and then obviously, God had different plans.
Things change. It's good. It's okay.
So, okay. We got like what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So, I know, gosh, it's sad that we get to. Now, you've talked about a good bit about your faith, so, it's not that we didn't cover a lot of this, but my last section of this was asking about your walk with Jesus. So you already kind of said how you came to know Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two questions, and then we'll be done. So the first one is, what does your daily walk look like? And then the second thing is, what's the best piece of advice you'd give to somebody struggling in their faith?
Wow. So just kind of dividing my life into two parts.
Yeah.
My Christian life into two parts. My daily walk is intentional. Instead of reactive, I'm intentional.
Yeah.
The simple things of, daily devotions and reading, that is definitely a part of my life now, and it never was, years ago.
Yeah.
And I do believe wholeheartedly that when you stay in the Word, in those moments, you stay in the Word in those events of your life.
Yep.
And it couldn't be more truer right now with what we've talked about today. But
Yeah.
It has helped me as a father, incredibly as a father. Certainly I always have a lot to learn, but, just handling the day-to-day things with family issues and stuff like that. When I became more intentional with something as simple as trying to be obviously sacrificing for Amy,
Right.
that changed a lot of things to the positive. And I can't say that I would be in the circumstances I'm in now with my knee and the job and all the stuff we talked about if I wasn't being intentional already.
Right.
Because I certainly wouldn't be paying attention.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was too selfish to pay attention back then, So just my daily walk is just being intentional. And I will put a little caveat to it that's still on that Christ-like level. And I tell Cole and Jenna this too. How we handle things is an example of Christ too. So not just, hey, Christian, it's really good to see you today. I care about
Right.
you. What's going on, man? Is there anything different? Not just those moments.
Yeah.
Those are obvious.
Yep.
But how you go about your business
Yes.
is a testimony. Me at work, Cole on his team, Jenna on his team, how you handle yourself
Yes.
is a testimony, not just how you treat the people. If you're handling yourself, you're going to treat them just fine.
Right.
So I try to be, when I'm having to make some weird decisions at work that are unique and sometimes difficult, I just try and keep that in mind. Like, let's make sure we got everything in. I'm doing what God would say was the best plan for this moment, and
Right.
we'll go from there. So that's kind of my daily walk, is just trying to maintain a standard that is impossible to reach, but trying to get there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about something I don't know if anybody ever told me this, but we naturally say like, how are you? And usually our response is good.
Good.
Right. And so what I try to do is, when I ask people that, I want them to know, like, I really want to know, how are you? And so I'll say, well, why are you good? Or like, why is that your answer?
Mm-hmm.
And not every time I do that, and obviously sometimes I'm guilty of just the good, right? But really inside, it's like, if only you knew, I'm actually struggling really bad right now. And so, but more times than not, people are asking just because they're asking. They don't really want to know how you're doing, because that's going to take a lot of time to talk about. But for me, I want to, when I ask somebody, how are you doing? I want them to feel like when they walk away, wait, why did he care so much? That he just wanted to know what's going on.
What's in it for him? What's he worried about?
Right.
I used to feel that way too.
Yes. So I love the word intentional, being intentional about everything. I don't know if you've heard, well, I know you've heard the album. So the song Daily Communion on there, I don't think I've ever wrote something.
Christian Elijah.
I know. I don't think I've ever wrote something that was like, this is what it should look like for our walk with Jesus. And so I find myself always like referencing that song in my own life or like to other people. He's closer than the lights and stages. His word pierces through our skin. And just the chorus of that, daily communion with my Father. He's closer than a brother, closer than a friend. And it's constant conversation. So, are you playing the song?
No, I'm not playing it.
Okay, I thought you were about to pull it up.
No.
Yeah, being intentional.
I'm not going to do that to you.
So, is that what you would say is the best piece of advice? Be intentional?
I think so. When you're intentional about the standards that are before us,
yeah,
they just come out in so many different ways, man. And you'll surprise yourself at what type of effect it has on yourself, as well as someone else. Got a couple of phone calls in the last couple of weeks that were very encouraging, and they were more of a reciprocal phone call, like, because of you, I'm calling you now because I know you're dealing with this. And it was it's pretty uplifting.
Yeah.
I do believe that especially all of us that do have faith,
right,
that are saved, we just have a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that as an insult to the others, but if they would just see it, I think that they would truly understand the rest of it.
Yes.
So I do think that being intentional in everything.
Yeah.
Taking me a long time to realize that.
Even the small things, that
smallest things, man. I've told this story in Sunday school, but when I was in high school, we had this one kid named Jeremy. You may have heard me say this in there. I brought it up a couple of times in the last couple of years with the guys, high school guys, but he was one of those annoying attention-seeking people in high school, like totally negative, just drive you crazy. I wasn't actually friends with him, but I was in several classes with him. Anyway, one random day, I'm walking down the hallway. He's sitting on the floor at the lockers with a couple of female friends. And he says, "Hey, Taylor, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, Jeremy." Just waiting for something to...
Yeah.
And it happened. But he actually said, "If I killed myself right now, would you care?"
Oh, my.
I'm like, here we go. I'm a dumb 17-year-old at the time. And I just looked him straight in the face and said, "No." And I walked off. And the only reason I said no was selfishly, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I don't want to hear your dumb, attention-seeking garbage again. And that's all that was. However, it's haunted me for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But the girls that were sitting with him were like appalled. Like, they verbally yelled at me and, "That's terrible. Who are you?" And I remember I just blew him off with my hand, like, whatever, that's Jeremy.
Right.
Like, I just kept walking. I regretted it the moment I said it.
Oh, yeah.
But, and I still feel terrible to this day about it. And I did find out years later, he didn't go to college, but I found out years later that he actually tried to kill himself a couple of times.
Oh, my goodness.
Unsuccessful. I don't know the details or anything like that, but I was like, I probably aided in that. As small as that 2-second encounter was, I probably aided in him feeling, you know, lost, hopeless, despair.
Did you ever get to talk to him after that?
No, I never knew him like that. And, you know, we graduated, and I have never seen him again, and I moved to Georgia.
Man.
But it has popped in my head to figure out where he is. You know, I hope he's still healthy and alive and everything and living a good life. But and apologize to him, because I would. I've actually mentioned that to Cole.
Right.
Like I feel like that's something I need to do, because that's one of those really stupid, regretful moments in time.
Yeah.
So,
man. Well, I guess my last thing before we wrap up. Do you have any questions for me? Any one question you could ask?
I would just like to know what it is like.
Oh my goodness.
To be a music star. I'm just kidding. I don't want to. I'm just having fun with you.
I know.
I would like to say, I would like to know, in all of this experience of your work, everything going on, and I know some of the details from you, so I don't expect you to go into a long thing, but like, what is the one thing I guess you learned and have kept that might sustain you as a result of the process of having a goal, a really big goal, I will say, and seeing that process come to fruition with great success? What is the one thing you got out of that just will stay with you?
Like, what's the one thing that I received from it, or what is one thing received from it?
Received from it, learned from it, whatever it is, that one.
Well, I will definitely say that it's, literally right now, thinking that I have an album out there that has the potential, right? Has the potential.
Sure.
For anybody to hear it, and has the potential to change somebody's life, has the potential to encourage somebody, remind somebody, confirm something in their walk with Christ, or even those that aren't walking with Christ and they hear a song and they're like, okay, who's this Jesus guy he keeps singing about? Yeah. Where was I going with that? Just the fact of literally before May of this year, because that's when I met my producer in person. Like, if you would tell me like you're gonna have a full length album out that's like professionally done, thousands of dollars poured into it by other people that just wanted to give, I would be like, that's just insane,
Yeah.
Because 13-year-old Christian who was leading worship and writing songs for fun would never believe that.
Crazy, isn't it?
I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sitting here right now, it doesn't feel real to me, but I also don't see it as like, okay, I did it. It's like, this is just the start of like what God has planned for me. Whether that's more albums, more songs, or just more encounters like I had with my producer. So I guess something that that I look at this process and that has always I hold on to, or that I've learned, is when God brings something or somebody along, don't try to put together this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to take place, because he's going to do what he wants to do, and it's going to blow you away every time. Thinking about your story, right? I would have never thought that we could raise the amount of money we did in 3 months, and I didn't have to pay a single amount.
From so many places.
Yeah, so many different people. And there were multiple people that wrote $1,000 checks. And so I guess the one thing is just don't get so caught up in the stuff and the thing that God is doing that you miss who God really is, and you miss the opportunity to praise him even more. I look at the album and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But it's like, but do you know the one that put it all together? do you know what he did in the process? And that's why, like, I love getting to tell the story of how it came together, because it's just praise and glory to him. So yeah, just stay humble in the small little moments of the journey, and where you can be able to reflect and say, that's what he did in the secret place. And y'all just get to see the result. But if I could tell you the journey, I think it would help people. I mean, you telling me that story about your knees and stuff, I mean, it's like, okay, Lord, I need to be more consistent in prayer and just trust you. No matter what the doctor says, no matter what the conditions look like, you're gonna do something greater. So
that's pretty cool, because being consciously aware of your humility is being intentional.
Yeah.
It's just one form of it. So
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget where it came from.
Yes.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I think you done talked me out.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I didn't talk a lot, because I usually feel like the talker, and then I look back and I'm like, did I give them an opportunity to just talk? So I like getting to just listen.
I kind of feel that way too when I start going.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
But
you did well. I appreciate it. And
yes.
I just can't believe I got invited to be on your podcast, though. That's awesome.
That reminds, every time you do stuff like it reminds me of Jeff Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see him, he's just like, oh my goodness, is it Christian?
I love it.
So anyways, well, thank you everybody for listening. If you hung around for this long, I am surprised, because it's been almost 2 hours, but I appreciate you, and trying to get this thing going more, get some more people, maybe a few pastors on here. So just stay tuned, and we will see you on the next episode.